I just got too aggressive. I wanted to keep a very small profile around the tin, and it's just not enough. The joints are so weak they just fall apart. There's not enough glue area to hold them together. So that's a lesson learned there. So I glued up a new batch. We're waiting for the glue to dry now. And the next ones, I'm going to use biscuits. This is a number 10 biscuit. We're going to reinforce those joints. We'll cut in from the back side and install a biscuit, cut them off smooth, sand them down. You'll be able to see the slots in the back side, but you know, it's the back side, so it's not that big a deal. The front will look good, and it'll be a lot stronger. All right, we got the biscuits put in for reinforcements. And you can see it there. This is the back side, so you won't be seeing these when the cabinet's done. They've been sanded smooth. This one's still standing proud, so I glued it in. I'll be sanding that down in a minute as soon as the glue dries. And that'll give these joints a tremendous amount of strength. These won't fall apart at all. You'll be able to drop this clock on the ground without damaging this frame now. This is pretty standard woodworking procedure. You can see a little bit of the layout line where I'm going to cut the inside out, where the tin's going to lay. That's the next step. Originally I was going to round the corners off all the way around to make this a round clock frame. And my wife decided, she said she thought it looked better octagon. And the more I look at it, the more I think she might be right. But now we're going to keep this to ourselves because women are hard enough to live with as it is. We start telling them they're right about something, they're going to get insufferable. So we're going to keep that to ourselves. But I believe I am going to go with the octagon on the outside, and we'll round the inside out to match the panel. And we'll get back to you when we get ready to route the diameter and the undercut for the clock face to go in. Now here we have the very simple jig I made to radius out the bottom. As you can see, I just drilled a series of holes on my router table. Figured out a distance from the center of the bit to come up with my radius, and I hot glued a strap across the clock face, drilled a hole in dead center, and then when you put that in one of the holes, it'll pivot you in a perfect circle over the router bit. And as you can see, let me get back here, it leaves a really nice undercut. Now I'm going to have to go back in and make another cut a little farther in to get rid of the octagon shape. This is the relief for the clock face to go in and be relieved in from the back. So I'll finish this up and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, finally got the clock frame assembled. This was a real nightmare. The first one I cut undersized, as I told you earlier. In this one, when I was routing out the interior, must have had a couple pieces of white oak in there, or pin oak in there, because they chipped out on the very last cleanup pass, naturally. So I had to put a band of cherry, 1/8" cherry veneer around the inside to cover up the chip out and stuff. But I think I got it done now to where it looks pretty good. I'm going to show it to you what it looks like, and then we're going to get ready and stain it. So here's the original one, and as you can see, it's way too small, and it just fell apart. There wasn't nearly enough surface area to glue together. So we made the new frame, which is now here. And on the back side you can see where we put the biscuits to reinforce these joints. We undercut it here all the way around that so that the tin panel and then the hardboard back can go in it to support the clock mechanism. And as you can see, we went with the octagon shape instead of the round because it just was taking off too much material. Oop, come on, camera, focus. Let me grab the clock mechanism and put it all together so you can see what it's going to look like. Alright, now here's the face the clock. Put that in upside down. Line in the two holes, top and bottom, and that'll get it straight and square. And this is the backing plate, which will be held in probably with little retaining clips. Come on, stay focused. When you turn it over, that's what the clock's going to look like. Yeah, so you can imagine this hanging up on the wall. I think it's going to look pretty nice. Get some clock hands on there. I'm pleasantly pleased with it. It was a nightmare, but it's looking much better now. I don't know if you can see on camera the little band of cherry veneer I put around the inside edge. It doesn't look like it's going to show up, but take my word for it, it's there. And it was again, it was a nightmare to put on. But now I'm going to stain it with a light oak stain, probably honey maple or something like that. And I'll show it to you after it's assembled. Well, we're just finishing up the clock, putting the last of the glazing points in, which is what I'm holding the back face of. We got the clock mechanism in. Got the handcrafted stamp applied. All we have left to do is put the hands on, and I think we have a finished product. So let's go ahead and put the hands on, and then we'll put it up on the wall and see how it actually looks. We'll tighten down the clock. You don't want to over tighten this, it's pretty fragile. And then you put on the minute hand. Small nut, got to remove. Yeah. There we go. These are press fit. So there's no actual orientation, they just friction fit, I guess you'd call it. Now the minute hand has a location and a little nut that holds it in place. Make sure you get it down on there. Now we'll see how I like this clock when I start using it. These hands may not be big enough, and I can go back to the hobby store and they have different length hands. I could buy a longer set. These fit perfectly inside the small white part of the clock. I think they'll show up nicer that way. That's the second hand. And that's all there is to putting the hands on, so let's take it over to the wall and see what she looks like. And here's the finished clock hanging on the display wall. Actually pretty happy with the way it turned out. It was really a challenging project. I didn't think it'd be so simple, you know, just simple framing the clock mechanism, but the frame was really tough. We never had made one before. Next one will be a lot easier now that I know what to look out for. It was a fun project. Took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I thought it would just be a one afternoon project. Turned out to be took me the whole weekend. But I think all in all it's turned out pretty nice. It'll look good hanging on the wall at